Eros had driven the SRV most of the way up the side of the rim. He had come to a stop due to a hint of low-level interference on the radio instrument crudely mounted on the top of the storage tank using vacuum tape. Locking the wheels, he released the canopy and climbed down from the hamster ball and carefully walked around the back of the SRV, retrieving an umbilical and attaching it to the back of his suit. He opened the side of the tank and pulled out 2 large suitcase-like objects. Normally, they would feel rather heavy. In this gravity, it was only inertia which he had to fight with. Slowly, he made small hops to the side of the rim. About 10 meters or so from the top, he sees a strange image flash before his eyes. His reflex was to close them, and he turned his head to the side as though trying to avoid being hit by something. What was that? He asked himself. He had never experienced hallucinations before, at least not any unexpected ones or tricks of light. He knelt down and shuffled backwards a little. Scraping away the soft dust with his hands, he made a small flat area and placed the cases down and flipped each one open. In one was a control console, in the other a small drone. He picked up the drone and attached miniature ion thrusters to it. He attached several small instruments to its belly and flipped it over and gave it a gentle push into the sky. Moving his attention back onto the console, he rapidly pressed and flicked buttons and toggles. Above, the drone stabilized and hovered. As data began streaming to the console, Eros flew the drone over the rim of the crater. The first occurrence was the ion wind, instantly interfering with the sensors. Eros could see an object embedded in the opposite side of the crater. It lit up largely in UV. As he looked closer, he could see that it was surrounded by a silvery mirror shine, as though it had turned its surroundings into solid metal. Once more, something flashes across Eros' eye and through his mind. He feels an intense sense of dread. Although he is unable to work out why his mood took a sudden hit other than coinciding with the ion pulses from the object, it felt as though he was removed from his body just for a moment. He thought about the images and couldn't really make anything out that he recognized. He noted an increasing magnetic activity emanating from the object, in pulses roughly 30 seconds apart, each with slightly different duration and strength, but 30 seconds apart nonetheless. Every 8th cycle, Eros would receive chaotic visions and a sensation of being outside of his body. With each, he started to feel more and more nervous and more paranoid. He finally moved the drone towards the object. As he reached the point near to where he located the SRV, the drone picked up a large magnetic pulse out of sync with the norm and instantly cut its connection with the console. It hovered and remained in place. At the same moment, Eros had the compulsion to stand, but it also felt as though he couldn't really feel his body. The resulting movement was him to straighten his legs and perform an awkward leap into the sky. Once above the crater rim, he began to realize exactly why he had found Seema in the way he did. He began to see almost constant images and experience chaotic and confusing shifts of emotion. Him floating up and then back towards the ground didn't really enter into his brain. Instead, he was flooded with chaos, which started to make more coherent images as old memories and nightmares began to replay. The moment he dropped back below the rim, he was released. He flailed to position himself for a safe landing. On his knees, he looked back at the asp.